Dundalk went 3 points clear at the top of the league with a 2-1 win over Shamrock Rovers in a game marred by crowd trouble. Dundalk took the lead on 53 minutes as Gary Breen's header was flicked to the net by Neil Fenn. Fenn's header giving the home side the lead. Dundalk went 2-0 up and Rovers defenders would wonder how they conceded such a sloppy goal. Ross Gaynor's cross into the area. The visiting defence failed miserably in their attempts to clear, and JJ Melligan was on hand to drive the ball low past Alan Manus for goal number 2. Melligan eventually got control of the bouncing ball and the home side in control. Referee Damien Hancock then produced a yellow card to James Chambers as he caught Dundalk's Sean Kelly with a flailing arm in his attempts to get to the loose ball. Rovers then got one back as a long throw by Stephen Rice was flicked into the path of Gary Twigg, and the ace hoops marksman was on hand to score his 3rd of the season. Twigg really is a poacher supreme, and Rovers were back in the contest. The game then turned ugly with 10 minutes to go as Rovers were reduced to 10 men. Chambers, already booked, went in, foot up on Stephen Marr, and referee Hancock deemed it a yellow card before producing a red and sending Chambers to the line. Chambers might feel himself a little unlucky. Rovers manager Michael O'Neill was then sent off by referee Hancock for leaving his technical area, brushing aside the 4th official in the process to commiserate with the departing Chambers. That decision kicked off a section of the travelling support as a number of Rovers supporters got in behind their team's dugout, and a number of incidents occurred involving both sets of fans. Gardaí were forced to intervene, pushing back the away supporters into their terraced area. The arrival of the riot squad with dogs was a very sad sight indeed, and a number of missiles were hurled onto the pitch, including what appeared to be lumps of timber aimed at stewards and Gardaí. Damien Hancock delayed the game for several minutes to restore order and added 5 minutes to the end of the 90. A 2-1 win for Dundalk, which put them clear at the top, but the ugly scenes at Oriel Park took away from a decent display by Ian Foster's side. The FAI launched an immediate inquiry into the trouble at the game.
Well, whilst the goals that were scored last Monday night may not have hit the headlines on TV or in the newspapers, the trouble that flared at the venue most certainly did. The so-called Shamrock Rovers fans who forced the game to be suspended for over 7 minutes besmirched the name of the club that they claim to support. And the FAI, as John mentioned there, the guards and the club are conducting an investigation into the incident, and Shamrock Rovers have said that they'll ban the perpetrators for life. We saw the sending off of James Chambers, and this was, I suppose, the spark in some respects that lit the fire, Tony, but you know, no matter what happens on the field, it doesn't excuse anything that we saw off the field.
No, I thought it was a harsh sending off, Con. You know, the first booking, fair enough. I didn't think that was a booking in itself, never mind the sending off. But having said that, you can't condone what happened after it, and there's been a lot of bad publicity on it. What I would say is it needs to be taken in context. This doesn't happen every week. It is, you know, out of kilter. Rovers are a very good club, have been run very well, good structures in place, a lot of good fans. 15 or 16 maybe mindless thugs that attended this game and overreacted. They need to be banned for life. Rovers has said they will do that. The club itself will probably be punished in some shape or form. And after that, I think we need to move on. You know, you can't give it any more airtime than it's already received.
What sort of punishment would be fair, Pat?
I think they'll have a monetary fine, personally.
Yeah, I think, as Tony said, I mean, I agree with everything that Tony is saying. I mean, you know, we haven't seen it before in the last couple of years, especially. I mean, it's disappointing. It's what you don't want, but unfortunately it's happened, and it will be dealt with. And, you know, let's leave it at that and let's move it on, you know. But unfortunately it did happen, and it took away from what was a good game as well.
One of the things from this, Paul, is the fact that you know, we bemoan the fact that the game here maybe sometimes doesn't get the coverage that we'd all like to see it get on television and in the papers and so on. Then something like this happens, it's front page news.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Con. There's no doubt about it. I think what the lads have said there, you know, it hasn't gone on a lot in the league over the last probably 10 years. And, I mean, we don't want to see it coming back. I think it's unfortunate, as Pat says, 2 very, very good clubs. And, you know, I think the best thing is that it gets sorted out, wait and see what the reports are. And hopefully, as I said, it won't appear again.
Okay. Well, the investigation is ongoing, and obviously we'll be hearing more about this. We're going to